Hello and welcome back to the Rope Access and Climbing Podcast, YouTube edition. I'm your host, Mikey Stevenson, and today I am diving into another episode of Acceptable or Unacceptable. If this is your first time here, please make sure to subscribe and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Step into your harness and get ready for a podcast about the vertical world. All right, so just a quick reminder here. I just want to let you know that make sure you follow your company policies and procedures as well as manufacturer specifications prior to attempting anything you see here. So, diving into acceptable or unacceptable, what am I trying to achieve here? I'm trying to achieve the difference between good or bad, safe or unsafe. All right, rope access has a massive gray area. All right, we do have code books, we do have syllabuses, but they're extremely vague and they're that way on purpose. It's our job to make sure that we have the understanding and knowledge to make our jobs safe. So let's dive in. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Acceptable or Unacceptable. Today I'm going to be talking about deviations, all right? And is this acceptable or unacceptable? So let's dive into it. All right, so with this deviation, I have a pretty large offset. I have two carabiners, two figure eights into two working lines. I have a pencil grillon here, and this is the 3 meter length. These grillons do come in different lengths, but for my setup, it works pretty good. Now, if you are in the field and you need much larger deviations, then obviously you have other alternatives like descent devices with ropes. All right, so let's dive in. Is this acceptable or unacceptable? So as it stands right now, this is not acceptable. And the reason for that is because the offset is greater than 20 degrees. Now, pretend that there's a magical line that continues on to the sky. This offset is greater than 20 degrees. So I'm going to draw this on the board, give you a little bit more perspective. Okay, so if I have a line that comes down, this is my rope. Okay, this offset here is what I'm looking at. Okay. So if that is greater than 20 degrees, then I need to double that up and create a double deviation. Now, when we are talking about deviations, we have to understand why we are rigging them up. Okay, do I need a single or do I need a double? Okay, a single deviation is strictly for work positioning. So if I'm pulling this rope over, okay, I'm not doing that to avoid a hazard or an obstruction. Okay, I'm strictly doing this to get me over closer to something to do my work. All right, now if this is a double deviation, okay, I'm avoiding a hazard. So let's introduce a sharp object right there. Now, we want to make sure that it is below the point where you would come out. So if you climb through this deviation and ended up here, you would want to make sure that when you came out, you would not come in contact with that hazard. This is something that I find a lot of people kind of have a misconception about is my hazard is right here. So if I climb up, climb through it, I barely scoot above it. And that's never a good practice, okay? We want to make sure that our deviation is set up well above that hazard. So then when we release, we do not come in contact with it at all. Now, if we have a deviation that is greater than 20 degrees, we're gonna have to double this up. That's fine. In this case, grab another grillon. In other cases, grab another control descent device and another rope, that's fine. Now, here, if this angle is upwards of 35 degrees, okay, you do not want to work in that area. And the reason for that is because of the rescue. Okay, climbing through a 35-degree deviation is doable. Okay, it's not the most fun thing to do, but it's possible. However, once you hit 35 to 40 degrees, that rescue gets very challenging as you come down here and you have to get back over there. Okay, that is definitely not a fun thing to do. I've done it many times myself in training. I do not enjoy it. Now, what alternative option do I have if my offset is greater than 35 degrees? Okay, our go-to option is re-anchors. Okay, so if I rig that up, I create a re-anchor. All right, that is my go-to better option in that case. So after explaining that, let's kind of show you what this double deviation will look like. All right, so I have another degree on here. All right, so I'm going to just extend that a little bit. Clip this onto my second bolt here. Attach that to the rope. Adjust it. There we go. Now that's an acceptable double deviation. I hope that this is something that you use in the field, all right? Deviations like this that are mobile are not something that a lot of people use, I find, especially when they come in for training. I try to explain what they are. People haven't really seen them, but this is kind of my go-to option when I'm in the field. This gives me the ability to adjust it in and out, and then if I have the ability to put control descent devices up there, the entire system is rigged for rescue. All right, now this gives us that ability. All right, a fixed point deviation, fixed ropes don't really give us a whole lot of option except for that improvised rescue when we get up and on top of this. Never a fun rescue. All right, so always think outside the box. Always try to make all your ropes adjustable so you can do an easier rescue at the end of the day. Remember, rig the ropes for the rescue and then modify the ropes for the job. Thank you very much for tuning into today's episode. I hope that you found some of this information useful and you can use this on your next job. If you use this system or if you use something similar to this, let me know in the comments below. I love to chat about this. And at the end of the day, we're all here to learn. All right. If you like this episode, please show me your support by hitting the thumbs up, subscribing to the channel, hit the bell for notifications as I put out new content every Sunday. And until next time, I'll see you then.